Good afternoon, everybody. This is Boomer's Daddy coming to you with week 6 of the GPP plays for the NFL. If you want to know who I'm kind of targeting in cash games, make sure you check out my article. You'll be able to get an insight of everybody that I'm targeting on all the different sites. I want to give a shout out to the guys over there at Fantasy Hub. They reached the $100,000 mark for charity this week. It has been a nice little climb for them, and just for reaching that mark, next week they will be holding a $100,000 GPP, which is, I believe, the biggest that they've ever had. It's only a $10 buy-in, and so it's got a pretty good little payout structure too. Let's see here. I'm trying to pull up the payout structure, and it's not going to pull up. It'll be kind of nice, though. It's going to definitely be oh, there it is. Let's see here. First place gets $10,000. Second gets $3,000. If you finish top 5, you're getting at least $1,000, and they're going to pay out the top 4,500. So it's kind of a flatter payout structure. It's kind of, they're going to pay out the top 3,600, but if you finish in the top 4,500, $1 of yours will go to charity. They are donating 10% of the proceeds to charity, so $10,000 is going to go to charity right off the bat. So that's pretty good little thing that they've got going on over there, and obviously you can pick the charity of your choice that you want to donate to. So, all right, let's get into week 6 here. There's some interesting matchups, and I've kind of been breaking them down all week. Got some very nice plays. We've got the projected ownerships from the Thursday contests, and it's going to be quite nice to hopefully be able to exploit some of those matchups and get everything kind of working in our direction. So, QB, I've got 3 GPP plays. Obviously, the other plays that are in cash games are in the article. I've got some sleepers that I'm thinking of too, but I'm not really too sure about that yet. I do like Colin Kaepernick, but I'm not rolling out 300 lineups this week. So I probably won't have him except for in about 1 to 2. But I do like Andy Dalton. Obviously, you don't like to play a lot of people going up to the Ralph. It is not a way to kind of make a good living. But that is one. He's just been absolutely crazy and absurd lately. So I do like Andy Dalton. Pair him up with AJ Green or Tyler Eifert. Hopefully you don't make the same mistake that I did last week, and I had him paired up with AJ Green, and Tyler Eifert was the one that scored 2 touchdowns. So AJ Green I like a little bit more this week just because they're on the road, and AJ Green has historically performed a little bit better on the road. So I also like Eli Manning, but there's a caveat to this. I only like Eli Manning if Odell Beckham Jr. plays, just because you've got that Monday night hammer. Odell Beckham is going to tear up the Philadelphia secondary if he plays. If not, then I don't mind Dwayne Harris, but not paired up with Eli Manning, just because I think that they're going to spread the ball around. I don't think Ruben Randall's going to play because his hamstring was actually worse than Beckham's was last week. So I also like Carson Palmer. I think he's going to go quite overlooked. He's a higher GPP contrarian play. He's going to be lower owned, and obviously they are projected to put up, it looks like, 24 points. So that's the 4th highest of the weekend. So I don't mind that play at all. For running back, if there's no Odell Beckham, I do like Shane Vereen. He caught, I believe it was 11 balls last week for over 100 yards. And so I think they're going to line him up out in the slot. They'll move him out of the backfield. They'll move him all over the field and kind of use him. And I think that's a good way that they could go if they don't have OBJ. I do like Duke Johnson going against the Denver Broncos. That defense it kind of funnels everything to the middle of the field. No DeMarcus Ware. It keeps the Leaps kind of banged up. And they have actually allowed a lot of running backs out of the backfield to catch the ball. So I don't mind that play at all. That's what he's going to do. I know Chris gosh, I can't even think of the other back's name right now. Anyways, I know the other guy's been getting the start, and Isaiah Crowell. Sorry, I had a mind fart there. But I do believe that Duke Johnson is the better running back, and it's only a matter of time before he starts taking over a lot of that role. So, Giovanni Bernard, he's kind of in the same boat. He's actually been the better back of the two between him and Jeremy Hill. He's going to catch the ball out of the backfield. That Buffalo defense is very good, so they kind of funnel everything towards the middle of the field as well. And DeMarco Murray. I know the my goodness gracious, the New York Giants have a very good rushing defense, but they've actually been allowing I think it's fourth or fifth most fantasy points to running backs this year, and a lot of that has to do with catching the ball out of the backfield and touchdowns and stuff like that. But it's not out of the realm of possibility. We saw what happened last week, and so DeMarco is a good back. He's just had a very, very, very poor offensive line. Now that Sam Bradford and that Eagles offense is getting rolling, I think that this is a good way that you can kind of start capitalizing off the low ownership in so-so matchups. Now, a lot of the pundits will probably go back and say, hey, out of all the games that DeMarco Murray has played against the Giants, he's only rushed for one touchdown. Well, yeah, that's fantastic. But, it's go back and look at a lot of those game flows. Were they behind? Were they ahead? I mean, there's a lot of things that could go into that. So I don't like looking at, he's only historically scored one touchdown against this team. So I'm not worried about that. Wide receiver, Mike Wallace. He is going to be extremely low owned. He's coming off of a bye. Charles Johnson should be back, which should help relieve some pressure off of Mike Wallace. If Charles Johnson's not back, then I'm going to pivot off of Mike Wallace and go to Stephon Diggs. I think Kyle Rudolph's a nice contrarian GPP tight end as well, but I think you can go other places and not go there. Jeremy Maclin, obviously, with the loss of Jamal Charles, I am totally, completely off Sharkandrick West this week as far as DFS is concerned. I actually picked him up in a season league and then turned around and traded him with TJ Yeldon for Todd Kelsey for for Kelsey. So it is one of those things that Minnesota's got a good rush defense, and I think they're going to try to make Alex Smith beat them over the top because we all know he likes to dink and dunk, and I just don't like this matchup for him. I think he's going to have better days, and it doesn't start in Minnesota. So Josh Huff for the Philadelphia Eagles. We are currently waiting the status of Nelson Aguilar. If Aguilar is out, then give me all the Josh Huff because Jordan Matthews, Sam Bradford would not be getting as much heat, and I know I'm wearing OU, and Sam's my boy, and DeMarco's my boy, but Jordan Matthews has dropped, I can't tell you how many balls this year. I think he actually leads the NFL in drops. So, and two of those have been in the end zone. So, let's see here. Calvin Johnson. Calvin Johnson typically destroys the Bears. So I like Calvin Johnson as well. Eric Decker, obviously he's going to be on the other side of Brandon Marshall, and that, I mean, if you're going to take one of two away, you're going to take Brandon Marshall or Eric Decker away. I'm going to try to do everything I can to stop Brandon Marshall. So Eric Decker gets a lot of red zone looks. He's got a touchdown now in 3 straight games, or actually all the games really that he's really played. He's got a touchdown in. So 2 weeks coming off the bye, that knee should be feeling a lot better. Dante Moncrief and T.Y. Hilton, I absolutely love this week. We know the game script, the game narrative is going to be that the Colts are going to be behind, and everybody expects them to get run out of the building, and I don't see that happening too much. I do think the Colts cover the 10-point spread, but I think the Patriots win. I think this game is going to be a little bit closer than what a lot of people are thinking. I could really honestly see a 42-35 or a 42-37 game, coming our way on Sunday night. Which, if that's happening, you better have a lot of exposure to that game, because if you waste your day in building lineups that go through the day, then, and you don't have exposure to the Sunday night or Monday night game, to where you can continue to push up a little bit, at least a little bit, if not a lot of it, then you could be sitting in a really good position going into the Sunday night game and end up not in a good position come the fourth quarter on Monday night. So make sure that you, in your cash games, in your GPPs, make sure that you get exposure to these 2 games in your lineups. Let's see here. Got to pay attention to Alshon Jeffrey. If he's not good to go, then fire up Marquise Wilson again. Keep in mind that Martellus Bennett did pop up on the injury report later on in the week. So whenever somebody pops up late in the week, I don't like that at all. So that's one thing. Pierre Garçon, keep an eye on Deshaun Jackson. If Deshaun Jackson doesn't play, then the other, I've just drawn a mind blank. There's another, hold on, I'm pulling it up. There's another Washington wide receiver that I liked. I mean, I know it's going against the Jets, but it is. Hold on, guys. I'm pulling it up. Jamison Crowder. So, sorry, guys. Let's see here. Okay, I think that's all for wide receivers. Tight end, Greg Ertz. I think he could have a monster game. The Giants struggle typically against tight ends. Obviously, the first question you're going to have to ask yourself is to Gronk or not to Gronk. I'm always going to have some Gronk, but it's going to, his price point around the industry is getting to that point to where now I will say this, on sites where you can put a flex in, I don't mind putting him at a flex, but on sites like FanDuel where you can only put him in at tight end, it's making it extremely difficult to play him on FanDuel. I'm not playing him in cash games, but in GPPs, it's making it extremely difficult. So, I do like Richard Rodgers. Andrew Corliss is kind of banged up and hurt. I don't think he's going to play. So that means that Rodgers is getting all of the tight end attention there in Green Bay. Travis Kelce, obviously. Gary Barnidge, I think it's around the same thing as he's going to work the middle of the field, just like Duke Johnson, so I like that. Julius Thomas with Blake Bortles. If Blake Bortles plays, then I'm all in on Julius Thomas. I love that. Larry Donnell, if no OBJ again, and Daniel Fells going against the Pittsburgh Pirates. Oh my gosh, I've been watching some MLB playoffs. Pittsburgh Steelers is a very, very sneaky little play. If we remember what the Steelers had done to them by tight ends the first couple weeks, when they were facing quality tight ends, it's a GPP flyer only. This is a large field. This is like your Millie Maker tight end. And that's only if you feel comfortable in other spots. But Daniel Fells could be that key to unlocking that winning lineup this week. So defenses, obviously, I don't mess around when it comes to defenses or kickers. I've got a nice little strategy that kind of goes. And what I look for is turnovers, interceptions, fumbles, forced fumble recoveries, pressures, hurries, and sacks. I always project an NFL team to score anywhere between 14 to 17 points in minimum. So if you take that, then that automatically knocks them down to 4 points that you're starting out with rather than the 10. So don't ever get comfortable with that 10 points. To give you an idea, Carolina's projected the lowest scoring total of the week, and they're projected at 17, basically 17 points. So that automatically takes it down. So you've got to build from there. And the way to do that is obviously interceptions, fumbles, sacks, and turnovers, and then defenses and special teams touchdowns. So make sure you look at all that stuff when you are choosing a defense. Kickers, this is how I go. High total game in a controlled or warm environment, hopefully kicking on turf. So this week, let's see, we've got the two kickers in the Indianapolis game. Got to look at the weather for the Green Bay-San Diego game. Haven't looked at that yet. Got to look at the weather in Philadelphia and Pittsburgh. Keep going down. Man. The Jacksonville kicker, maybe? No. It looks like I'm going to be all in on Gostkowski and Vinatieri. So maybe some Caleb Sturgis, depending on how the weather is, and maybe some Mason Crosby. So I don't mind those. Josh Lambeau, possibly, depending on what that weather is up there. So, all right, guys, for Spreadsheet Sports, I am Boomer's Daddy. If I don't win and take all the monies, then I hope that you do. And if you do, make sure you post on our Google Plus page, our Facebook page, or send me a screenshot of your winning lineup on Twitter, and I'll be sure to give you a lot of humble brags, and you can rub it in all of our faces. So that's one of the good things that we love about DFS is when we win, we want people to know about it. So guys, follow me at Boomer's Daddy on Twitter, or sorry, at Boomer's DFS Daddy, or at Spreadsheet Sports. It's at Sheet Sports. You can follow us on Facebook at Spreadsheet Sports, and I will talk to you guys later. Good luck.